So hi, this is a review video for third graders about synecdoche question, chapter 3 and question number 2. So we'll continue with our problem solving. So Muhammad must go to the mountain. We're supposed to find the meaning, implication of this sentence. So a family from Israel moved to Northern California, was amazed by the isolation they experienced when they moved into their San Francisco neighborhood. So there is a one family, Israeli family, and they moved from Israel to San Francisco, and they were quite shocked because of the level of isolation they experienced. They had lived in kibbutz, where they experienced a strong sense of community in every sense of the word. So kibbutz is a particular type of farm in Israel, right? So when this family lived in this kibbutz area, Israel, they experienced a strong sense of community. However, in San Francisco, they live in isolation. By the way, the strong sense of community is a topic of this sentence. Okay? And when we moved here, said the father, it was a culture shock. People nodded and smiled with a brief hello coming and going, then disappeared into their own dwelling, and we didn't see them again for days at a time. So the father said, when we first moved into San Francisco, it was almost like a culture shock because people said a brief hi and hello when they coming and going out of the house. Once these people disappeared into their own dwelling or residence or house, we don't see them again days for a time. So it's just no interaction between a neighborhood. So one night, my wife suggested if the mountain wasn't going to come to Muhammad, then Muhammad must go to mountain. So in your opinion, what does mountain seems to represent? Right. So here the mountain represent the neighborhood and the Muhammad represent the family. Right. So when the neighborhood is not coming to the family must go to the community, neighborhood, the wife suggested. And it was at that point that we realized we had a gift to bring to our neighborhood, the gift of community. So upon listening to the wife's suggestion, the father realized that this family have a gift of community. So over the next few months, the family organized a block party, a neighborhood yard sale, and open house brunch. So the family hosted several different activities, and it was a big success. So each activity was a quite big success in this neighborhood. So people became friends, and the connection snowballed. So snowball means become larger, become bigger, right? So these connections become bigger with the neighborhood, and a small babysitting co-op began in the neighborhood. So co-op means cooperation, right? So people in this neighborhood start to babysitting together, as well as a family neighborhood cleanup event. So they not only the babysitting, they have a cleanup event together every Saturday morning. So it seems that because of this one family from Israel, now they have a better community spirit. Okay, so here the mountain refers to the neighborhood, and Muhammad refers to family. So here is supposed to mean the family should first approach the neighborhood. Okay, so it was quite simple. And moving on. So supposed to find the implication of behind the open door, several differences are hidden. So let's go here. So it may sound rather trite to say that the first function of the picture is to show its object. So trite here, trite means not important. So it may sound not important that the first function of the picture is to show its object. The reason is because everyone knows the first object of the picture is to show the object to the audiences. So everyone knows it, so it's not important to say this. But the object of the picture is not always the one you think it is. So you may find it is quite easy to find the object picture, but it's not always what you think. Okay, here. So it seems that in this passage, the object of the picture is a topic. This passage. So it's obvious through the photographs the journalist bring back from the field that he shows the situation he witnessed. So in here, we're talking about three kind of different photographs. First photograph is the photograph taken by the journalist, okay, newspaper and stuff. So this photograph is try to bring the situation, bring the situation that journalists witnessed from the field to our audience. And this is the first kind of painting picture. And the second kind of picture is the paintings. And through the paintings he produced, the painter shows his object as much as his own sensibility. So through the paintings, or painter wants to show us his own sensibility. Okay? And the filmmaker, through the film he makes, can also show its own vision of the world. So in case of the film is the third kind of picture. The filmmaker wants to show his own vision of the world. So journalist wants to bring us his what he witnessed, and the painter wants to bring us his own sense and sensibility, and the filmmaker wants to bring his vision to world. So thus, through these few examples, you can understand that behind the open door, several differences are hidden. So here, these few examples refers to number 1, number 2, and number 3. So through these few examples, we understand that behind the open door, I guess the behind the open door here, another synecdoche of number 1, number 2, and number 3. So behind each open door, several differences are hidden. There are chances, there are other kind of interpretation on each picture, like number 1, number 2, and number 3. So here, each visual art of photographs and paintings and films, it include underlying message of each creator. Okay, this is like several difference. It means the message here. So each painters, it has several messages behind its door, and perhaps it's not the main thing. In fact, whether it's fictional or informative, it's very rare that the picture isn't accompanied by a comment. So whether it means each kind of picture, okay, number 1, number 2, number 3, okay. So whether those pictures are fictional or informative, whether the purpose of this picture wants to like describe fact or wants to provide information, it is very rare that the picture isn't accompanied by a comment. It means that almost always, each pictures, they almost always accompanying each comment. Okay? However incomplete it may be, that specifies its meaning or context. And also, it refers to each kind of picture, number 1, number 2, number 3. So the picture itself, painting itself, might be incomplete or it might be complete. So however those pictures might be incomplete, it might be, that specifies meaning or context. So it here, in this case, refers to the comment. So almost always each painting or movie or picture is accompanied by the comment which has its own meaning or context. So it may be a title in case of painting. So in case of painting, the comment might be some title. And in case of a journalist, photograph, it might be an article. About like news, okay, containing several hundred words in case of journalist photo, or in case of the film, the comment might be an outline of a scenario. So each different picture, each different paint has its own comment accompanied by these pictures. So this underlined part supposed to mean the visual art include the underlying message of its creator, almost always. Okay, and moving on. So now this time it's asking us to find the implication of that shoes best fit the species who possesses fit to wear it. Okay, so here to destroy a whale is a monumental denial of life and merely one symbol of the human species' rather recent hatred for the world. So here in this case, a whale is our topic. So to destroy a whale is a monumental denial. So monumental means important. If we keep killing whale, means that human beings, we are denying our lives. And we are representing our hatred for the world if we keep killing the whale. We have named one whale killer. So, we refer to human. We named one whale a killer. There is a killer whale. You guys know, right? So we named one whale a killer. However, that shoes best fits the species who possesses fit to wear it. So here maybe the shoe is a name. Okay, the synecdoche represents a name, and maybe the species represent the whale. So only those name suits whoever possesses to fit to wear it. So we call the whale a killer, one whale a killer, but whale is not a killer at all. Whale doesn't have a foot to wear the shoes. So let's continue what it means quite a little more. So whales are more appreciated than ever, and whale watching yield more lucre than killing us. Nowadays, many people love watching whale. And whale watching. Whale watching is kind of tourist business. You go out into the ocean and you try to watch some whale. So this whale watching activity yield more lucre. Okay? So yield, as you guys know, yield means produce. Whale watching produce more lucre. Here, lucre here means profit, more profit than killing does. So by watching whale, we make more profit than killing and selling those whale meat to others. So in that appeal to our own self-centeredness lied their best hope. So their here means refers to whale. So human beings, we are doing whale watching activity and we love it. Because just because humans love to watch whale, this is we don't kill whale, we just keep watching and make money out of it. And this whale watching, if we think about it, is really humans' self-centered, self-centered activities. It is human who are enjoying watching whale, and in this human self-centeredness, only the whale's hope lie in these self-centered activities. If people don't like watching whale, people will probably keep on killing whale. But now they are enjoying watching whale. So in this human self-centeredness, there is a hope of the whale. So maybe we should use this self-centeredness to protect the whale more in the future. But even if all of us gain emotional and intellectual maturity, finally divest ourselves from harming them. So divest here means remove. So let's say somehow most of our human beings, suddenly we become really emotional and we become really intellectual about the whale, and suddenly we decided not to kill the whale anymore. We suddenly decide to remove ourselves from harming whale. Let's assume this situation. If we suddenly become emotional, intellectual, and we stop harming the whale, even so, even in the case, we may yet lose them in the ocean of plastics, chemicals, fishing tangles, spinning propellers, speeding hulls, and noise. Even if humans decide to stop killing whales anymore, we're still going to lose whales because there's already too much danger and too much threat in the ocean for whales, such as like plastics and harmful chemicals and fishing tangles. No, fishing tangle is a fishing net, right? We use fishing net in the ocean, and we throw this fishing net in the ocean, so the fishing net gets tangled, and it becomes harmful hazard for the whales. Okay, the fishing net, fish tangles, and it's threatening the whale, and spinning propellers, and speeding hulls. Hull is the body of the ship. We have so many ships speeding on the ocean and threatening the life of the whale, and a lot of noise. So because of all this threatening already, because of all this danger, whale might lose their life anyway, regardless of humans' attention, decision. So all whales now have trouble competing with the aquatic primate. So the aquatic primate means human, right? Primate is a species like monkey, gorillas, and chimpanzees, including human. And it says aquatic human, aquatic primate. Now we have a really great skill, great technology, who can build a high-tech ship. So we build a great ship, and we go to the ocean, and we catch all the shrimp and fish, which is food for fish and food for the whale. So whales are having trouble, having difficulties competing against aquatic primate, aquatic human, for their own food, because humans are taking away all the fish, so their life is threatened. And the more humans fill the world, the more we empty. So ironically, the more we go to the world, the more we use our resources, the more we just empty our environment, our nature, and our Mother Earth. So calling the whale a killer doesn't make sense. Whale is not killing. It is human. It is us who kills animals, who kill the earth. Okay? So number 2 is the question. The answer. Moving on. Another implication question. Practice a form of technological science supposed to find the meaning of this. Okay, so let's continue. Here, there are people who don't obsessively go after the latest digital devices. We have a group of people. We have one group of people, and this group of people, they don't go after. They don't follow obsessively all the high-tech trend. So for these people, they are taking time. They take time before changing their hardware. And there are some other people, other group of people. So we have number 1, these people, and we have number 2. Other group of people have developed a taste for vintage technology, not only for vintage decoration or fashion. So these group of people, just like some people have a preference for vintage decoration or fashion, they have a preference for vintage technology. So vintage, old. Some people prefer old technology. So none of these cases reveal ultimate or total renewment of technology. So when we say these cases refer to number 1 and number 2. Okay? None of these cases it reveal means show. None of this case shows an ultimate or total renewment of technology. So renewment here means giving up. So even this case of number 1 and number 2 doesn't mean that people are totally giving up a technology, but rather the temporarily interruption of its use or preference for slower pace. So these number 1, number 2, they just prefer slower pace of technology. They're not totally giving up the technology at all. So we consider it appropriate to include this list, the so-called slow movement. So the list here, this list, refer to number 1 and number 2. So it is quite appropriate to include more slow movement into number 1 and number 2. So we can call this as a number 3. With its taste for slowness and tranquility, since open technologies are used precisely to speed up some processes in life. So oftentimes the reason why technology is developed is to make our life speed up, to make our life go faster, So for the preference, for the taste for slowness and tranquility, including this slow movement into this list of number 1 and number 2, it makes sense. It's appropriate. Okay? So the movement was born as an alternative to fast food. So the movement here refers to the slow movement. Okay? The slow movement originally made against fast food, but quickly spreads to the realm of life. So the realm here means area. So quickly this movement of slow movement moved to the area of the life, other life. So slow movement is all over in our life. So whoever chooses slowness may indeed practice a form of technological science. So whoever chooses this slow movement, this person practice a form of technological silence, and we don't know what the technological silence refers to yet. Maybe like here in this path of slowness, we find the many forms of meditation, or traditional or new, that are so fashionable nowadays, and that can be seen a way to temporarily refrain from technology. So here it is saying that practicing a technological silence is a way to temporarily refrain from technology. Okay? Not totally giving up a technology. It's a temporary refrain, temporary interruption, okay? Temporary delaying of using our technology. So here, maybe the sentence here is supposed to mean like taking a break, not totally giving up from using technology. Okay? And here, moving on. So unequal number of words as of things, we're supposed to find the meaning of this sentence here. So modern scientific writing in English began in the 17th century with authors such as like Francis Bacon, Robert Boyle, and Isaac Newton. So modern scientific writing began in the 17th century, and some of the famous scientists is Bacon, Boyle, and Newton. And this period, 17th century, was characterized by intense debate over the nature of language generally. So these scientists, they had an intense debate about the nature of language in 17th century. So at issue was the prism power of words. So I told you that this sentence is reversed. Okay? So when they had a debate over the nature of language, the prismed power of words. I told you that this is a subject. Okay? And was is the verb, and at issue is a complement. Okay? So normally the correct order of English is a subject, verb, and complement is a normal order, but it's reversed. The sentence is reversed because the subject is too long. Okay? Subject is too long. So when they have a debate over the nature of language, the prismed power of words was at issue. These scientists, they debated over what is the prismed power of words. This was the main issue when they had a debate. And the prismed power of word to control knowledge. They believe that the power of word can control knowledge as Bacon. Bacon usually argued that the language can control knowledge or to force and overrule the understanding. Language can force and overrule understanding, and language can throw all of us into confusion. And the language can also lead us away into the numberless empty controversies and idle fences. So these power of the word, all this power of the word was the issue when they have a debate about the nature of language. Bacon was thus the first person to claim revolt against the Elizabethan style of writing. So revolt, I told you that revolt is a revolution. So Bacon is the first one to raise a revolution against Elizabethan style of writing. So here, Elizabethan style of writing was really popular in 17th century. So Elizabethan style of writing was really romanticized, really emphasizing and using of beautiful phrases and using several different meanings and really descriptive language, just like including Shakespearean drama language. But Bacon raised a revolt against this Elizabethan style of writing, and he suggested something else. Instead of Elizabethan style writing, he said he pulled a veil between the intellect and the word. Bacon argued Bacon argued that Elizabethan style of writing is pull a veil. Pull a veil means interrupting. Elizabethan style writing interrupt between the intellect and the word, making it more difficult to discover the truth about the word using of this Elizabethan style. So Bacon argued that to advance our knowledge, the new experimental philosophy, there was simple, direct, and unadorned form of speech needed. So here, instead of using Elizabethan style, Bacon argued that let's use simple, direct, unadorned form of speech. Unadorned means simple. Okay, so by using this simple, unadorned language, we can advance our human knowledge better. And this would lift the veil. So lift the veil, exactly the same opposite meaning of pulling the veil. So it will advance, maybe, will advance our knowledge, and it can provide an equal number of words as of things. So maybe the equal number is exact explanation. If we use simple, direct, unadorned language, the language can provide us with a more exact explanation about the things, about the word. So Bacon suggested that we should use this language here. Therefore, this gives us a hint about the meaning of the sentence. So he is arguing the plain and clear description of the word. Okay. So I guess thank you for listening, guys. We'll continue our lesson next time. Okay. Let's call it a day. Okay. Thank you. Bye.